maybe. There we go. Hello, hi everybody. Welcome to another Toonkind at 12 frames per second. I am Hex, and today I am playing again the new boy. The scared boy. He's traumatized, but it's don't worry. Shh, we're not getting into that today. Shh. I'm playing Matthias. Everything is fine. He's gonna be fine. And I am joined today by someone I don't get to play very often with, and that's exciting.
Yeah, we should see about fixing that. Hi
Sure.
everybody, I'm Whis, and I am also playing a boy. I am not playing a scared boy. I'm playing the good boy. I'm playing Rye.
Such a good boy. And for a little backstory, it has been probably about 2 weeks since May. That's the longest I would say it's been. It's been a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks since Matthias has been brought into network to, well, live. He lives there now. And he has, for the most part, uh, kind of been. I wouldn't say he's been a ghost, but Rye pretty quickly figured out this lad does not leave that room unless he is like specifically pulled out, or he is going or he is going to the kitchen or the bathroom. Like, he is in that room all the time. Um
Yeah.
and that's yeah, that's probably understandable given what Rye knows. Uh so as time kind of, goes on, and the week-ish turns into multiple or an extra one, uh, Matthias is getting more confident in, at least when he needs to like go to the kitchen, or if he needs, water or anything. Just he has inferred, I can do that. This is a thing I am able to do. And so
Yeah.
it's sightings of him are becoming slightly more common.
Yeah. Good.
And so before we kind of jump in the thick of it, what's Rye kind of feeling about this boy? About this new lad?
Well, look, Rye has been the shy, traumatized boy. He's been
Mm-hmm.
there.
Mm-hmm.
And like he's well aware of how long it can take to adjust to suddenly being going from the shittest environment he can imagine to this, which is the direct polar opposite to that.
It
Um,
really is, yeah.
and like it took him a while to get used to Lynn and network and the way that they sort of ran life and ran house and everything, even before he was adopted proper. So like he can
Hmm.
understand that it's an adjustment period. He is
Yep.
also, however, dreadfully curious because he's also a little socialite, this kid. So he's like, I want to talk to him. I
I
want to see
want.
what he's like.
Yeah.
I think I've heard him say all the 4 words in the last week and a half.
Yep. And most of them have been yes or no.
Or ma'am, possibly, if he was talking to Lynn.
Ma'am,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just like, curiosity boils beneath the surface, it do.
He is vibrating under his skin, wanting to know more.
Yes, it's like, new friend, new friend, new friend, yes. Um, yeah, he has also clocked the fact that, Matthias has very, very, very long hair, and he's like, I've never braided hair that long. That is so cool.
It is so long. How do you even handle it? And the answer to that is by spending about 30 minutes in the bathroom every morning rebraiding it. Um,
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's really funny because Rai does not have any hair, but he gets an awful lot of joy, and so does Lynn for that matter, out of braiding Lynn's hair,
mhm.
which they make a thing of. So he's actually
Yeah,
not that bad at it. He's got some practice now.
I love it.
But also just going up to somebody who is recovering from trauma and who haven't been properly introduced to and all that sort of stuff. And just going up, hi, can I braid your hair? That's weird.
That's a little weird. I mean, to be fair, the knee-jerk reaction though is gonna be a yes, and probably more incredulous than like immediate, panic response. But still, it's because it's the Craigery notion of when caught off guard, just agree, I guess.
Yeah, but Rye is nothing if not polite, so.
He's a very polite lad, so he's just been vibrating under his skin.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely.
While all of this hair exists just down the hallway.
Yep. Yeah.
Which, excuse me. I'm sorry, I tried. Which leads us to, so on this, fine, I'm guessing it's probably an afternoon.
Yep.
Rye is in the kitchen. Rye, what you doing in the kitchen?
Rye spends not an insignificant amount of time in the kitchen because he really enjoys cooking and is actually quite good at it. So when he's not working and not doing his woodwork, he likes to cook and stuff. And today he is making something with cocoa, like hot chocolate cake. He's in a chocolate mood.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's up to. So like, and he's just having a little bit of a cooking party. So there's all sorts of crashing and bashing in a very, very toony fashion, or from off screen, because that's just what cooking sounds like when you're a toon.
It is. It's what cooking sounds like. And the state of the kitchen is always, what's the most comedic thing for it to be based on what the expectation is.
Yeah.
So there is absolute chaos happening in the kitchen. And as luck would have it, your newest housemate is in fact able to hear this commotion, and it's been long enough that he realizes this is a normal sound, quote unquote. And he previously would, just ignore it. It's fine. I will not bother them. It's okay. But he's really, really thirsty. So, it's probably okay just to like quickly dip in and get a glass of water and then dip out, leave whoever's in there to their cooking. It's fine. He can do that. So he's gonna try and be quick. He's gonna try and be sneaky. He's gonna try and roll stealth. I say this all is try because, well, he doesn't have very good stealth. And yeah, no, the dice know. So, Rye, if you would like to roll me a perception for, or if you just want to go off your passive, it's fine.
Well, what did Matthias roll?
Matthias got a solid 12.
Oh, well, his passive is high enough to get that. I mean, Rye did roll an 18 on the dice. What's your perception? It's a +5. So like either way, Rye's got them clocked.
Yeah, he's got the changeling clocked, and so Matthias is trying to be quick, trying to not draw attention. He's like, Rye is clearly, he pokes his head in the kitchen, and for the giggles, what is the state of the kitchen?
Look, it's a localized chaos, so there's not complete disaster from wall to wall to floor to ceiling. It's like there is a lot of chocolate cake batter sort of splattered onto the backsplash on the wall and the bench a little bit. Like, for those of us playing at home, maybe network is helping. Who knows?
Yeah.
But like, so there's a pot on the stove, like a small saucepan on the stove, and it's bubbling away, and there's this very comically large bag of cocoa. Like, think those big bags of flour that you would get, like a 5-kilo bag, except it's cocoa powder.
Oh my lord.
So like he's doing cake and he's doing hot chocolate at the same time, and it looks like there's butter. It looks like he's trying to make his own buttercream, and he's got like a laminated, printed out recipe card that he's kind of doing one thing and then looking back at and doing another thing, and like he's got smudges of chocolate all over him. He's having a great time. Like, he's not fussed.
He is having the time of his life.
Yes.
Matthias might be a little bit mystified by all of the everything happening because it's a lot, and he's just kind of like paused in the doorway, just taking all of this in, like, that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been informed Network is helping in her best way.
Yes. Oh dear. But when Matthias comes and pokes his head around the corner, and Rye notices immediately, Rye has not interacted with Matthias a whole lot, and frankly, just generally doesn't expect to see him at any given time. So, like, when Matthias pokes his head around the corner, there's this small little sort of a squeaky toy noise as Rye sort of turns around in sort of surprise, and then there's just this comically large boof kind of noise as whatever he was mixing, like, I think he had one of those hand electric mixers and a big cup full of cocoa powder, and suddenly there's this like, with the force of a gale force wind just for a half second, because that's the gag, just a poof out the door, hitting Matthias, and then there's a blink, and then Rye's completely covered in, he's just brown, he's just a brown silhouette now. And he just sort of blinks his eye open, blink,
Ah! Peck! Ugh! Got cocoa in my eye.
Matthias is just coughing because he equally, I feel like this explosion might have, with the help of a mischievous little house, reached him a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Which it likely should not have, but it's like,
Tunes.
yeah, it's tunes and a chaos house, and just the bit of him that was poking out. So literally, his face, his shoulders, just the top half of his hair, all coated in cocoa, and there's like a startled squawk as he kind of like skitters back and falls on his ass, and he's just, what? Are you all right? What?
Roger's gonna, like, this is, that slow to open up crick kind of blink, and he blinks his eye open. He's still this little brown silhouette on one side, and he just sort of trots over and stops at a respectable distance from Matthias when he's sitting on the floor.
I'm fine. Happens all the time. Are you okay?
I'm all right. Just wasn't expecting an explosion is all.
It happens. Here, let me help you up.
And he's gonna offer a hand, and I'm gonna roll him a strength because lol.
Oh my god.
Rye, you're such a twig. I love him. Oh, little twiggy boy. So, like, it's the thought that counts, right?
Right, it's the thought that counts.
The thought that counts.
Oh my god, honey.
It's a 3. So it's
worse than Matthias. Rye offers a hand up. Matthias instinctively takes it and does, in fact, try to, like, let Rye help him up, and nope. Yanks him right back down.
I think there's just this poof as Rye just sort of falls onto the floor next to him. Oh,
there's another little mini, like, cloud of cocoa that rises.
Yes.
Oh wow, that didn't work.
It's quite all right. I'm all right. Matthias is, like, quickly getting to his feet, he goes to dust off his slacks, realizes there's really not a lot of cocoa there, and then tries in vain to, like, dust off his shoulders and everything else. And yeah.
Gosh, I've made a little bit of a mess of you. I'm sorry.
It's quite all right. It's fine. It's no trouble at all.
Nice to see you out and about.
I And he kind of like, he kind of, blinks, blink. I I was just going to get a drink. I didn't want to, don't let me disturb you from your cooking or anything.
Oh no, you're not disturbing me at all. I mean, really, I was just making some cake stuff. But the hot chocolate should be ready. Do you want some? Or,
Oh,
or there's water or milk or whatever.
um,
Whatever you feel like.
and he kind of, like, the minute Rye offers the hot chocolate, he goes to, he immediately is just like, all right. And, uh, he, it's not the I'm accepting, I mean, it is accept, I'm accepting because I was offered, but like, it's more, there is just like a bemused, like, hot chocolate, huh? Haven't had that. Like, I haven't had hot chocolate in a while.
I'm just
So
gonna
sure.
roll Rye survival because that's what I use for his cooking stat.
Hmm.
Nice, lad. Well done. Certainly a lot better than your strength check. This is some damn good hot chocolate with a 25.
Oh yeah.
Mirai's gonna pop back over to the stove and like turn it off, give it a stir with the whisk, and then
Do you like it, like, super sweet, or you're more of a middle sort of sweet? I can put cream on. Ooh, cream. Now where have we got cream?
he's gonna run over to the fridge and yank the fridge open and start rifling through the fridge.
Hmm. Matthias is kind of left standing, a little dumbfounded. He's not used to interacting with children. Even Rye, who is 16?
He's 17 now. Yeah.
17 now. Jeez.
Uh-huh.
Man, he's getting bigger.
Yo.
So even like older teenager, he's not used to interacting with like anyone who is not an adult. So he's just like, he's less nerve. And if Rye would like to roll insight at any point, he is welcome to.
Sure, I can roll an insight. Why not? I think Rye is in cooking zone
That's fine.
because that's pretty average.
Actually, no, that's enough. I hate to say it. Matthias's DC is super low. He has negative charisma.
Oh.
But basically, it's Rye would have been able to tell that he is just kind of a general state of nervous at all points. He's kind of like a scared little chihuahua. But around, like, with it just being him and Rye, it's less nervous scared and more nervous unsure. And it's pretty easy to tell he does not know how to interact around someone Rye's age. There we go.
English, it do work.
It do work. He is just like bemused, he's confused, he is unsure of anything. How interact with child. Treat like child, treat like adult. Just go with it. So he's still he's still nervous, but Rice starts kind of rambling, and where normally he might kind of get a little panicked, he's legit trying to, he's trying to entertain Rye because he doesn't know what else to do.
Oh, Rye will just come back out of the fridge and he'll have one of those spray cans of cream. Slam the door of the fridge shut and come back over and start setting up a few things on the counter. It's like,
right, okay, we got hot chocolate and cream, and I've still got some block chocolate which I can grate on top, and I got a wafer biscuit and a bag of marshmallows. Those are really big. Where did those come from? That's fine. What sort of things would you like in your hot chocolate?
Well, I never had anything like this in hot chocolate. I think I've only had some maybe once or twice.
Oh, well, this will be an extra special treat then. Ah, okay. How about we go with a little bit of everything? That way you can
Oh,
figure out what's
all
your
right.
favorite. I hope you like sugar because there's a lot here.
Uh, and he's just, I don't know. We're gonna find out, I guess.
We're gonna find out. He's gonna pull down a mug and he's gonna decant with a ladle into the mug because he's got the hot chocolate and the cream, and it's just like that bit from The Simpsons where it's just the hot chocolate with the cream and the marshmallow and a
Yep.
wafer and the little scrapings of chocolate on top, and then Rye's just
Yep.
gonna go slide it across the counter down towards Matthias. Give a bit of a little smile and a little growl exclamation mark, and then he's gonna start making his own.
And Matthias, he takes the mug, and I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. He's kind of studying it at first. Like, it's the same way of, this is a new thing. I'm going to examine it. So he's like looking at it from every angle, and he's like he lifts it, he gives it a sniff, he, you know, takes a bite of a part of it. He maybe like puts a finger in the cream to taste. Like he's trying to taste individual parts before he tastes the whole thing. Of just trying to puzzle out like what he's in for, basically. And the minute Rye looks, like turns back around with his own mug, Matthias has that like, uh-oh, and just takes a drink. And depending on how fresh this is, he may burn his tongue.
Oh no. Well, like, it was relatively hot because it was just on the stove. Oh, Matthias, oh dear. Dear, oh dear.
Hey, you're alright. You don't have to drink it that quick. It's hot.
Right.
Hold on, let me get you some water.
He's gonna go and get a glass of water and just offer it to Matthias.
He takes it just, thank. He tries to say thank you, and it's the one, it's a line that Rye has probably heard a lot, which is just thank you, sir, because that's his immediate response to anything when he's given something. And so he does say thank you. He takes a sippy. I apologize. I might have gotten a bit too eager, and that is, you don't even need to roll. That's a lot. Just, he was trying to like.
You don't have to be eager. Just take your time. And you don't have to call me sir or anything. Just call me by my name. You don't know it, right?
No, you. No. Lennon had mentioned you're right, correct?
Mm-hmm. And, well, if we're doing introductions, it's Matthias, right?
Yeah, yes. Yes.
Well, it's nice to meet you properly.
I suppose I have been, a bit, and he just kind of like, he hunkers down into his sweater, like,
Rye's just
it's a
gonna
very,
Rye's just gonna reach up and just give a very gentle pat on the arm.
It's okay. I get it.
And then he's just gonna turn, just straight up, just turn and go back to his own hot chocolate.
Matthias is just sitting there. He is bemused. He's like, this interaction is going in no way how he planned, but then again, he had no plan, so it's okay. Everything's fine. He's going to wait a moment, actually blow on the damn drink, and then have a sippy.
Little sippies.
Little sippies, smart, like you should do. And Rye can tell he likes it because his eyes do. He's real kind, so it doesn't do the tune thing, but there is like the unmistakable little like sound that says, "Oh, this is good."
There are a few tiny little stars that sort of pop into existence around Rye. He's very pleased about that. But he's gonna finish making his hot chocolate and then like make sure the stove and everything is turned off in a state where they can't explode again, theoretically. And then he's gonna turn back around to Matthias and give him a bit of a look up and down, and then look at himself, and then just put his hot chocolate back down on the bench.
I am not usually brown.
Matthias had been partial drink, and he kind of like chokes a minute, like. Yeah, yes. We are a little. Well, we did get a little messy.
Dusted very... Wow, this is a really even dusting of cocoa on my part. Oh, I got an idea. Hold on.
And he's going to take a good couple of steps away from Matthias so that he's just a fair good distance away. And then he's going to shrink down into his wolf puppy wild shape, which is also covered in cocoa powder. And then he's just going to sort of back up his little bottom and then just go shake, 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 and then pop back into his normal form and is just surrounded by this brown circle.
Hey, that worked. Nice.
Matthias staring. His mouth might be slightly open. He did not know Rye could do that.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess that solves that problem.
It means that I just have to sweep instead of having a bath.
Yes.
Doesn't help
then he
you, though.
Matthias is literally just like, I suppose I do still need to get a shower.
Yeah, gosh. I mean, I can kind of probably...
Let me just double check. He has pressed it. Yeah, he does.
I can get some of it like off your shirt and whatnot. Yeah, you've got a lot of hair though, and it's got a lot of cocoa in it.
I'm
sorry.
It's quite all right. It's quite all right. It's a lot of hair. I understand.
I forgot to turn the chime and the clock off. Whoops.
Guess the time. But he brain. I got derailed by chimes. Matthias is like kind of, he's trying to politely be like, no, it's okay. I can take care, like I can do it myself. You don't need to. But also he can kind of tell Rye is like eyeing his hair, and he's just I don't, you don't need to trouble yourself over me. It's quite all right. I can take care of, I can handle my hair. He's already like flip. I mean, he's 5'4", by the way.
Yeah.
And that braid is down to his knees. So it's long. And he's already flipping it around to like start to undo it so that he can, clean it at like get it cleaned and then
Yeah.
I mean, it's no trouble. I'm the reason you got cocoa in your hair in the first place.
well, I did startle you.
I was only a little bit. I wasn't expecting to see you out, that's all.
And he kind of ducks his head a little bit.
Well, don't do that. I'm happy to see you out. I mean, I've been wanting to talk to you all week.
Well, and he doesn't know much how to respond because it's like, you could have just come to his door, ? But Rye is a polite boy. When two polite boys clash, what will happen? And it turns out nothing, because they're too polite.
Yep.
but he just kind of oh I, I mean I guess he just like he makes a motion to for Raya that's just like I guess continue then. You want to talk to okay, continue. I don't know.
Raj is gonna sort of straighten up a little bit and make a little kind of noise.
Well, I mean, if you're okay staying out of your room for a little bit longer, I mean, I've got a whole bunch of brushes and all sorts of stuff in my room because I help Mom with her hair. I could get the cocoa and stuff out and braid it all again for you as a sort of an apology for getting you covered in cocoa and letting you burn your tongue.
It's that you don't uh, 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 you don't have to apologize. It's all right. But if I mean if you would like, then I suppose that's all right.
I mean, I know you can do it. I'm not saying you can't. But sometimes it's nice to be looked after, right?
Uh, uh, and he kind of nervously like I guess but he doesn't quite know how to like respond to that. Ow. Uh, and he's just it if you'd like to, then all right. I don't. All right. Uh, he is still unbraiding his hair. He has not stopped.
Ryan is still doing like he's now that he has been, however hesitantly, been given permission to braid this very
Yeah.
large amount of hair. He's just sort of standing there and he's doing his little bottom of the eye curl up smile thing, and he's got those little stars going ding 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 around him, going.
Yep. Yeah. It's so easy to tell how excited he is, and Matthias can tell that, and he's just, oh, all right, all right. He's not gonna say no. Like, even with, like, he can't say no. He can't say no to that.
Rye will nod, and then he'll grab his hot chocolate and go,
Make sure you finish that before it gets too cold, and then we can do your hair, and then I'll clean
All
up
right.
the mess before it's time to make dinner.
And he does, like, Rye says, make sure you finish, and immediately he, picks up the hot chocolate, starts sipping it again.
Rye is going to do a very comical chug, chug, chug of his and preemptively start cleaning the kitchen a little bit.
How he can do that without burning his tongue
It's because he doesn't have a tongue.
is yeah. I'm gonna find that a tiny bit unfair where the circumstance is a little different, but it's okay. He's gonna chalk it up to a tune thing.
It's entirely a tune thing. Oh, cravity. Yep. So Rye's just gonna chug it, put it down, and then just sort of start cleaning up. There's a few little prestidigitation flips under his fingers as he's trying to clean the bench.
Mm-hmm.
But he's more or less just killing time until Matthias is ready.
Which, yeah, it's like he doesn't take long. He does in fact drink it pretty quickly once it is a drinkable temperature.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't take too long for, him to finish the mug, and then he does walk it over to the sink. Because that's one of the few times he does see Matthias is, him returning plates to the kitchen.
Mm-mm. Yep. Fair enough. Alright. Well, Rye will stop and give his hands a bit of a brush off, and then put his hands on his hips like he's ready for an adventure.
Right. Let's go. We'll go get my brushes and stuff out of my room. You happy to sit in there, or would you like to sit in your room, or we could go downstairs?
It's whatever you would prefer.
I don't mind. I like it in every part of the house.
He you see him study he is definitely searching your expression, Rye.
Mm-hmm.
and maybe you know this from, having the worst time ever and being the traumatized kid.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to figure out what the right answer is.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Uh so he's studying Rye's face, and frustratingly, you know, realizes it doesn't matter. And so he's eventually he eventually lands on uh your room then,
Okay.
because Rye had mentioned that prior, like initially it had been like it's all in his room, so let's just go there.
Okay. Ryle nod and give a little bit of a come on kind of motion with his hand.
All right, let's go.
Matthias is gonna follow along behind him. He's
Just trot along, lead Matthias down the hallway to his room, and
Yep.
he'll open the door. And Rye's room, I can't imagine that Matthias has ever been in here because of aforementioned polite boy.
Yep.
But Rye's room is got the same wooden floors and wall and ceiling as the other rooms in the house, but it's definitely got a theme to it. It's got blue curtains with gold stars. His bed is covered in it, like is got a blue doona on it with stars, and he's got lots of wooden furniture, very similar to a lot of the furniture that was downstairs, particularly in the office areas. He's got bookcases. He's got a wall, there's a stretch of wall that's got some haphazard pieces of blue wallpaper stuck onto the timber that he's put glow in the dark, those big chunky thick plastic glow in the dark star stickers onto to make his own little constellations. And he's got
Yeah.
plushies, and like it's very much a kid's room, really.
Yeah. Uh oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to finish with there's a big mirror on one wall, and Rye goes straight over to a chest of drawers next to the bed and starts rifling through it.
Matthias he takes all of this in, and it's like it's the same surprise of I did not expect that, and then the Lynn did mention that Rye built her desk, of like that makes sense. So he's taking all of this in, and there's a very audible train of thought going along as he's like recalling things Lynn mentioned about Rye and piecing these things together of like, oh, that is true. Okay, he does in fact do this. Okay. Uh Things like that. And he's kind of just standing off to one side, like waiting to see where Rye directs him to go. For, optimal brushies.
Rye will go through the drawer, and he's going to pull out a few different brushes and some extra hair ties and things like that. And then he'll grab from near the desk just a stool, and he'll go and stick it in front of that wall mirror.
I think if you sit here, then you can see what I'm doing in the mirror.
Oh, all right. And he'll come over, he'll take a seat. He is very like this lad has such perfect posture. He is doing a sit, and that his hair is partially unbraided, and even partially unbraided. Holy crap, Rye, this is that type of hair that like stylists dream of. It is thick.
Wonderful. I think what Rye's going to do first is like he'll kind of just like pick up at the base of where it's still kind of braided and just very gently start teasing it all the way unbraided. But he'll also just give Matthias just a little bit of a little pat on the shoulder, and he'll just go,
You can relax your back a little bit if you want. I know it's a hard habit to get out of. Took me ages. But you don't have to sit super duper still or super duper straight. You're also a lot taller than me too, so.
Oh, right. My apologies. And he does kind of like hunker down just a tiny bit to give Rye a little better
You don't have
accent.
to apologize either. It's fine. We're all in this together, you know?
Oh, and he doesn't know quite what to say to that one. He's just right.
bless. Well, Rye's just gonna start, like, once he's got it all unbraided, he's just gonna start sort of using the brush and the comb to kind of just piece out bits of it, and then prestidigitation each individual little bit to get the
Yeah.
cocoa out, do a bit more brushy cocoa prestidigitationing, and then just sort of
Yeah.
until he can get it clean-ish enough.
It's like, okay, I think that's all the cocoa. I think. How's that look?
Yeah. And so Lynn will have informed him to, and Matthias will say yes, but just informed him to, I'm gonna use this spell, just as a warning of like this is
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
happen. And so Matthias does kind of like brace, and then when he realizes it is just prestidigitation, he does relax. And so he kind of turns his head, and he's just, oh, you were real thorough. Huh. Wow.
I am really glad that prestidigitation is a cantrip. Otherwise, the house would be so much more dirty.
I can only imagine it. My own thaumaturgy is useful, but it is not that useful.
Oh, I don't know that one. I mean, I only learned prestidigitation when I got to be a wizard, which I didn't do, like, it wasn't that long ago, really.
And he's just gonna start, like, really brushing the hair almost idly while he's talking. He's doing very hair salon kind of gossip here now.
Yeah.
But I love it. It's such a good spell. One of the first things I did with it was sparkles. It's so fun.
I mean, it is a pretty versatile spell. It's I've even I've heard it is used to season food after all. So
Oh, yeah, but that's also kind of cheating.
and you get a head tilt.
Well, you should be able to make food taste good without magic. And, it's also really kind of important on one hand, because sometimes if food tastes bad, that's because it's bad for you. So, like, the food might have gone off or something like that. So, while I can understand you wanting to make everything taste great, you kind of want to be able to tell the difference between good food that tastes good and bad food that tastes good because of prestidigitation. It's just, I don't know, I just don't think it's a good way to avoid food poisoning.
I hadn't considered that. You can see him having a big think. Like, he's not attuned, but those gears are turning. Like, he hadn't considered that. Huh. That's an interesting. Just, huh. I never thought of it like that.
I've had to learn a lot of things like this since I left my old home, and it was one of the first things I learned. I mean, apart from good berries get boring so fast. But, yeah, when you're eating out of garbage cans, you kind of want to know what's going to give you food poisoning or not. So, it's something I learned pretty quick.
Uh, there's an alarmed kind of noise, and then a very, like, right, you can see he want to ask, but he polite. Which is the worst. He's so polite. He does not want to be rude.
I think Rye's just gonna...
like,
no, go ahead.
Rye has just now casually mentioned, I ate out of the garbage, and Matthias is alarmed. Like, why would you do that?
I think, because Rye's been told that he shouldn't ask probing questions of Matthias, he is going to just sort of stop in his brushing and just sort of lean around Matthias a little bit and just look at him in the reflection of the mirror over his shoulder.
You're allowed to ask me questions if you want.
Now he's just, uh-oh. Caught. And he's more, forgive me, why were you eating out of the garbage?
Well, until Mom found me, I was homeless.
There are so many emotions and realizations of, like, and thoughts of like, oh my god, you can see this lad has so many things of like, wait, but Lynn's your mom, but you're homeless. But was Lynn homeless? Wait, hold on. Were you missing? Wait, hang on. He is trying to piece together this narrative without realizing adoption is a key factor here.
Matthias, honey bunny. Oh.
Like, he knows rationally adoption is a thing. He knows this. But it has not occurred to him yet. It has not occurred to him yet that this is the case. Because toons are weird, man.
I mean...
It's kind of assumed, like, Lynn called Rye her son. That's her son. Yeah, okay. Lynn looks a little older than he expects. So, like, yeah, makes sense her kid's about this age.
Oh, I can't even blame him. Because it didn't occur to me that Ergen is not actually Staniel's biological dad. Until they outright told me so. So, you know, I can't blame Matthias for not considering this to be an option, because toons.
I know! So, Rye, you see this poor boy, this poor man, trying desperately to do the mental gymnastics required to make this narrative make sense. If you want to save him, that's fine.
Yeah.
If you want to see how deep he goes, you can.
I think Rye might throw him a line a little bit.
As there is something that makes sense there?
Lynn's your mom, though. Were you missing? Were you,
She's not always been my mom.
Blink, blink.
Only for
Tick,
the last,
tick.
like, 2 years.
Tick, 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 ding. Oh, all right. My apologies. Right, okay, I understand. He is turning a very, very fun shade of pink. And it goes it is creeping up his ears. He might be ducking into his sweater.
Rye's just gonna give a little giggle.
It's okay. You wouldn't be the first person to wonder whether or not Mom and I were related our whole lives or not. I wish. That would have been so much better, but that's okay. We're here now.
Right. You're, at least you're here now. He is. There is still just that reeling, like, right. And now everything makes sense, and he might just. He's not beating himself up, but he's just like, I cannot believe I forgot adoption existed. I can't believe I thought toons didn't do adoption. Or I didn't consider that toons do adoption. Like.
Bless him.
Were Rye not brushing his hair, he would be that emoji of the head and hands, just like.
Oh dear. I think that there's going to be just this small little silence from Rye for a little while and go,
You have so much hair. It's so heavy. Does this not hurt your neck?
No, I suppose I've gotten used to it.
I suppose. You're a real kind, right? So this happens slowly. Gradually gets longer and longer, right?
Yes, it's been about 2.5 years growing.
Wow. I mean, I don't have hair, let alone hair that does that. But wow, that's a long time to never have your hair cut.
Yes, Master Keys didn't, he lacked it long, and he doesn't shrink in on himself, but it is just like, yeah, his hair is long because, yep, it wasn't exactly his choice, but he's, it's not, his body language isn't like I hate it. It's just, this is my hair. It's long. Yeah, I've grown used to it.
Yep. Rai will just give a bit of a nod. He won't really react to
Hmm.
that statement in any particular way, apart from just a understanding kind of nod.
I get that.
Hmm.
I used to have to wear a suit, and that sucked. So uncomfortable. But, we do what we gotta do, I suppose.
Matthias kind of, there is the solidarity nod, which might be a little alarming, but it's okay. It's fine.
Okay, I think that's all the cocoa and all the tangles and stuff. Okay, what kind of braid would you like? I know 4 different ones.
Oh, usually usually it's a French braid, so it's the kind that like starts at the top of the head and then goes down. I don't know if Toons would still call it a French braid, but he's going to basically describe a French braid.
Yep.
Oh yeah, the kind where you add a little bit more every turn. Yeah, I could definitely do that.
No, that's usually what I kept my hair in. It does the best to keep the strands out of my face.
Yep, that's fair. That's fair enough. Okay, well, if you like that kind, I can do that one. Or I can do a few different sorts. Mom lets me do her hair sometimes. There's this really nice braid that you can do where it gets really, really thin and then you curl it in on itself so it sort of sits at the base of your head. Mom wears that one for like when she goes out to fancy parties and things. That one's fun. You have a lot of hair though. That'd be that'd be like a beach ball on the back of your head. Maybe not.
Rai is puzzling this out, and Matthias is like, he is literally just mid like, it's whatever whatever you would like to do is fine.
Well, I could always do the French braid from the top and then do a few different braiding patterns down the length of it. That could be fun. A few different overs and unders. Ha!
All right. He has no idea what Rai is talking about. He only knows the one braid. It is okay.
All right, cool. I can do that.
Now, what am I going to roll you for this?
Sleight of hand?
I don't even remember what I rolled last time. I really hope it goes well. Oh yeah, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. I'm going to chalk this one up to, like, Rai doesn't actually have a sleight of hand modifier. But, like, this is a 13. So it's, pretty average. I'm going to chalk it up to the fact that Matthias is, even sitting down, still fairly tall compared to Rai.
Yeah.
And it is not the kind of braid he normally does on Lynn, so it's not the kind he's super good at. But so he'll start with the French braid at the top, make sure it's all kept out of Matthias's face, and then it'll get down to sort of at the base of the head, and then he's like, right. Now, let's do a few different ones. Let me just put a tie in this, and you'll put a hair tie around it. Okay. Let's go. And he's just going to start doing a few different braids sort of styles, so that there's, instead of just that normal sort of kind of chevron-y kind of pattern that you'd get in a normal braid, he's going to be doing a different sort of braid so that they're, like, the chevrons are reversed in the opposite direction.
Ooh.
Yeah. And he's just going to keep doing that so it just looks a little bit different.
As he's working, initially, Matthias had been, like, he'd been pretty, like, tense. Like, he's just kind of, like, I mean, the nerves of, well, the nerves. As Rai had kind of, like, combed through his hair and been, like, running his fingers through his hair, he had started to relax a little bit.
No.
Aww.
Yeah. Rai's hands are much, much different textured, and much smaller. This is new, and he finds out this is actually not bad. So he starts to relax a little bit, and, like, he doesn't lean into it, but he is just like, like he's relaxing. Rye can see him steadily start to relax.
There may be a few little Grolic stars as he realizes this, but he's just going to keep braiding. He's like, nope, don't
Yep.
draw attention to it. Don't draw attention to it, whatever you do.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep.
I mean,
And
Rye will get down to the end and just tie it off with another hair tie.
The ends are a little bit raggedy. Do you want me to trim them? Or leave them as they are?
oh, that's they're fine. It's all right. You don't need to do that one.
Okay. I might
That is
just...
definitely the I'm not allowed to cut my hair talking. So
Yeah, fair enough. And he'll just sort of then kind of almost like flip the little end bit over and like re-braid it into the rest of the braid and then tuck it into the hair tie. So it's got this nice little curled end instead of the ends of the hair, I
Aw.
suppose.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
That should help keep it out of the way. What do you think?
And Matthias kind of he can't quite see very well, but he does like pull the braid up front so he can see it, and he's just, oh that, oh wow, I've never thought of doing that. As he's like looking at the end of his hair tucked under and curled around.
Mm.
It's a little messy in a few spots. Your hair is a different texture altogether to Mom's hair, but I don't think it's too bad.
I mean, you did very well. It's well, I mean, and he just kind of like turns his head one side and then the other.
Hmm.
You got it all. You got it all.
Oh, good.
He doesn't, and Rai kind of picks this up as has picked this up over the course of everything. It's just he's a quiet lad, and it isn't just for I don't know what to say. He's
Mm-hmm.
also just quiet, like sitting in silence is not a problem for him. Like that's just he's kind of like a cat.
Mm. Yeah, fair enough.
So he's just like he's turning his head side to side. He's looking at the braid. He's examining like the length of it, what he can get his hands on and actually like pull forward and look at. He's turning like he's examining how Rye did the actual braids. Cause yeah, he only ever did the French braid, so this is all new to him, and he's just this is neat.
Right, is sitting there doing a little pleased moment as his handiwork is being scrutinized.
Hey, I was
Less scrutinized and more admired, honestly, but yeah.
Hey, I was gonna ask.
And he just sort of puts his hands in the pockets of his jacket and just sort of leans a little bit.
What is it that you do in your room all day?
Uh, uh, um, uh, I, he kind of like blink. Uh, not, not a whole lot. Uh, 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 the real answer is he just kind of sits quietly and whatever books he's managed to get, he reads. Uh, I do a lot of reading. Uh,
Reading's good. What kind of books do you like to read?
uh, I don't. I just like reading. I never really had a preference. Just kind of what networks got around, really.
Nettle has such a variety of books around the house, though, because there's all of the books that Mom would pick, and then all the books that Nettle would pick, the books that I've picked, and now we've got Gregory's books too. I mean, Dad's books. So I'm still practicing that. But yeah, so we've got a variety of books. Would you like to borrow some of mine? Or, if you just want to have a quiet sit read, we could go and sit on the couch. Maybe we could do a quiet sit read next to each other thing. If you want.
I'll again, it's that bemused like all right. he is more confused than alarmed because, like, he can clearly pick up this kid wants to spend time with him.
Mm.
And he is unsure of how to handle that. Because he's just like, why? Why child won't hang out with me?
You're gonna have to get used to this, Matthias.
And it's gonna be great. Get used to it. He's just right now, he's very confused.
Oh dear.
But he does just, excuse me, he does, like, all right, yeah, okay, and he's just kind of, I don't have anything in particular. I can, if it's all right, I can just see what's, I can just grab something and, we can, I guess, sit and read,
Sure. Especially if you're halfway through something. I know I like to finish a book before I start another one. So, yeah, by all means, go for it.
All right,
I'll put the
and he'll
brushes and
kinda-
things away.
oh, all right, and he'll, like, he stands up, he is very, like, God, this is the energy of, like, the awkward kid suddenly gets noticed, basically. And he is so unsure. He's just like, I don't know what to do, but I'm gonna roll with it, I guess. So he's gonna head back in. I imagine he's, like, of all of the books that are available in Network, he's probably picked, like, there's probably, like, some history books he's grabbed that he's been, like, going through,
Mm-hmm.
and so he's probably been reading one of those, and he's gonna grab that, and then, like, I would say he's waiting for Rye to, like, come get him, but if he hears Rye head down the stairs, he may just, like, I'm supposed to meet him down there, and he'll go that way,
Well, it's not going to take Rye a particularly long amount of time to put hairbrushes and things away and then rifle through
Yeah.
his bookshelf. So, like, Matthias and Rye probably come out of their rooms at about the same time, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Rye comes out and sees Matthias kind of poke his head out and makes a wave so Matthias will come over.
Rye is absolutely thrilled that Matthias has come back out of his room, to be honest.
Delighted, and Matthias can tell this, so he's just like, yep, okay, I'm doing all right. The kid's happy. I will continue to make the kid happy.
And, like, I can just picture just as the fade to black kind of happens here, unless there was something that you wanted to have or something else you wanted to have happen next.
I can't think of anything beyond, like, Lynn and Craigery come back from something. Maybe a date night. Maybe it was just tea. Maybe it was shenanigans. We don't know. Back to just these two on the couch, and there's the delighted ramblings of basically, look, I got him out.
Oh, I would deliberately not say that, but, like, I can
know.
just picture the two of them as Rye and Matthias head down the stairs to sit on the couch. Rye just immediately starts talking about what it is he's reading and asking about what Matthias is reading, and, like, he will eventually shut up once they get to the couch and they actually read, but he will just sort of pipe up every now and then with questions about the books, and he's specifically only talking about books.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lynn and Gregory come home and just be, "Hi, Mom! Hi, Dad!" And then just enough of a pause for a little meek wave before the scene cuts.
Yeah. Matthias gives, like, a very sheepish wave from the couch, like, trying to hide behind his book, and then it cuts to black.
Oh, woe, enthusiasm be upon ye. Oh, golly.
Whoa, the sweet child be upon ye. He's too amused to be, like, nervous and frightened. He's just like, Child. What do? Child? Hello?
What do I do with you?
Turns out the most effective way to curb any fear, just give him a child.
Oh, goodness golly gosh. That was fun.
Yeah.
I love getting Ryan to just be enthusiastic and friendly at people. It's a good time.
We love it. It's so good.
Oh,
Oh,
dear.
man. I'm going to stop my recording now.
Yeah, same. Thank you everyone for listening. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.